Final event underway, and it starts with that 120-foot handstand walk. If one partner comes down, everyone has to stop.
And we're expecting to see a little bit of a handstand run here between Canada and U.S. It's going to be the smartest thing to send your fastest walker first. Get them out of the way so that...
For Australia, actually just ran into Danae Brown. That means the Australia team has to stop. But it is Canada led by Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet. She will be first, followed by...
Your screen, Sam Briggs for the European team all the way at the end. This is the event that kept her basically out of the games. She's going all the way. Oh, that's the first time she's come down. Nice job. Way to improve herself going on those handstand walks.
The Americans are first to the tire. They will alternate pairs flipping it. It weighs 950 pounds. The United States has to beat Canada by 2 places to win the Invitational.
And Rob Forte is just having a hard time, for Canada.
Todd Porter was across for Australia, and it is Lucas Parker and Paul Tremblay coming across for Canada, and now Michelle Letendre. The Europeans are on the tire, and the Canadians on the tire as well. But Jason Khalipa and Julie Fouché, Rich Froning and Emily Bridges.
They got the timing down, and that's what this event is all about. Yes, it's heavy. Yes, it's awkward, but you have to, within the team, figure out how you're going to maneuver that weight up and what you're going to do between a tall athlete and a short athlete. The USA looks like they got it figured out now.
It's a little awkward when you have someone shorter. They can get that bobble, but they are working together so nicely.
The Americans more than halfway across this 120-foot floor. The Europeans are in second, and Canada sits in third. If this holds, the United States will win the Invitational. They are working very smoothly on the right side of your screen on that tire. Meanwhile, Canada not nearly as efficient. The Europeans still in second place, and it's Australia in fourth.
The United States team looks so strong. This isn't even an issue for them. But what's important for the U.S. team is that the also moving that tire well.
The Americans are done flipping the tire. Each teammate needs to do 2 legless rope climbs. Khalipa is done with 1. The Europeans are opening up a little more of the lead on the Canadians. Remember, Europe is still alive here, but they got to win this event in order to win the whole thing, and then they need some help after that. Jason Khalipa on the rope for the United States. Lucas Parker and Michelle Letendre on the tire for the Canadians, and now Rich Froning, his 2 legless rope climbs.
And this is a great position for the USA team. Put the guys out in front. 2 legless rope climbs is not an issue, but let the women, who we have seen in the past, we've seen it in the games, we've seen it in the regionals, legless rope climbs, they can go away really fast. Let the girls rest. And now the women get to come up and have their shot at the rope.
Rich Froning is through his 2, and here comes Emily Bridges. On the right of your screen, Michelle Letendre. Sit in second, and Canada now all the way back in fourth, and Emily Bridgers moving back up the rope and trying to keep the United States in front. They have to beat Canada by 2 places in this final event to win the Invitational.
And this is the last person on the rope, so again, I know that the lunge for these guys is not going to be a problem, so it's just a matter of just Julie getting up and down and letting these guys grab a hold of that worm and take it down to the end for the finish.
And this is what they're looking to do. Last year, they spoke about it for a year, how they fell apart at the Invitational, just did not look like they were able to work together as a unit, as a team. And this is it right now. They're coming together to show they can work together. Julie
Fouché is done, and now the Americans hoisting up that worm. It's 4 segments. The front segment weighs 80 pounds. The segment behind that weighs 65. The segment behind that weighs 75, and the final segment weighs 60 pounds, a total of 280 pounds. Jason Khalipa in front, calling out signals, keeping his team synchronized. They have to switch shoulders at the halfway point.
And they look so well timed right now. When you watch the other athletes, the other teams pick up the worm, you will see how the segments shift. They are keeping this solid, very smart, putting the women in the middle. Their height discrepancy is not as big as some of the other teams, and that is huge for them.
The United States is leaving everyone in their dust, 60 feet down.
And look at the synchronization. Jason up in the lead there. Now they got to switch that worm to the other side. But watch Jason. He's calling every step. Down, the whole group steps as a group. Watch him. Down, the whole group steps as a group. And that's what they need to keep that worm controlled as they go all the way across the field.
And that's it. You don't have to look like you're ridiculously fast. You have to work together, and that's going to be who gets there first.
Jason Khalipa and Rich Froning were on the United States team last year that lost to the world team. They want nothing more than to win the invitational, not only for their country, but for themselves as well, and prove something here. And now the Europeans, and this is huge. They are in second place. The Canadians are falling back. The Americans close to crossing the finish line. And then they will become the biggest European fans in this building. The United States is done. 6 points for the Americans. And now they wait and see if the Europeans can hang on to that lead. The Australians are on the worm, and the Canadian team is back in fourth.
And if you look at Paul Tremblay right here, he's failing on the rope climbs. This is what America needed to have happen because they needed to win by at least 2 spots. And this stopping point is going to just absolutely crush Canada's chances. It's not going to happen.
Oh, for sure. And this is shocking, though, Bill. I am shocked right now that he's having this much trouble with these failed reps.
Especially when he did so well on the pull-ups, so well on all the strength lifts, and then this is just, I mean, it's shutting the door right in his face.
Australia trying to chase down Europe for second place. And with every step these two teams take, the Americans get closer to winning it all. Canada is still on the rope as Paul Tremblay is taking his time getting back on the legless rope climb. The Americans came to San Jose looking for redemption, and it looks like they have found it.
So with the Canadian team right here, I think it's just the fact that Paul blew out trying to flip that tire. They had a really rough time between their coordination with their team. I think that just blew out the forearms.
It's a battle for second here in this event. The Australians will get there first in this one. We're going to have to go to the timing chips to see who got across the finish line, but that means that the United States, Rich Froning, Jason Khalipa, Julie Fouché, and Emily Bridgers have won the 2014 Reebok CrossFit Invitational presented by HGST on their home soil. Michelle Latondra for the Canadian team on the left side of your screen. They came into this event in the lead, but the tire and the rope proving to be just too much for them.
And this has to be so frustrating for the Canadian team. I mean, you don't want to be mad at anyone on your team, but when you have a definite stopping point like that, it's tough. It's really, really tough, especially with all 4 of these athletes being such great individual athletes. It makes it tough. But you know what? To cheer themselves on, I think that's huge. Got to keep that sportsmanship.
There is a 10-minute time cap on this event, and you know the Canadian team wants to finish underneath that mark. This is where communication is huge. You have to have your knees on the ground at the same time, and you have to stand up at the same time. The rest of the teams coming back down the floor to cheer on the Canadian team, and this is one of the best things about CrossFit, that it is very often, we say it over and over, that the team or individual who finishes last often gets more cheers than the team or individual that finishes first.
Not often. It's pretty much always. It's pretty much always.
Rich Froning and Jason Khalipa, who had all the pressure on them coming into this event to make up for what happened last year in Berlin. Mission accomplished for them. Ten seconds to go before the Invitational is in the books. And Canada just trying to get as far as they can here. Jason Khalipa hugging Becca Voigt, his coach. 2 of the 3 individuals to compete in 7 CrossFit Games. It just didn't happen for Canada in the final event. They don't care about the time cap. I think they want to finish this and prove something.
Now this is just posterity's sake here. This is all about, we're athletes. We're going to finish. We don't want to stop. We don't want to quit till it's done. Let us finish it. I don't think anyone's going to try and stop them.
We've seen this a couple times at the games where teams have been in the time cap and they stay on the floor and they finish. It's
well,
about
they
pride.
earn their spot. It is.
Yeah.
It's a pride thing for sure.
As Canada closes out their event, it was the United States lunging 120 feet to victory. We'll be back to hear from the 20.